An ex-AEW wrestler set his foot on fire during an Indy event. A top New Japan star is out of action. And we take a look at scrapped plans for the Fiend and the Hardy Boys. Yes, hello everybody. Lots of news to get through today, so we'll jump right in with a story about Joey Janela, who, first of all, we should say, is thankfully okay.
Yeah,
so that's a good start. But yes, he needed immediate assistance after setting his foot on fire for a flaming superkick spot at a recent GCW show on Saturday. GCW Maniac. He was wrestling Drew Parker, a UK wrestler, but he's now based in Japan, in the main event of the night. And yeah, he put some lighter fluid on his boot, set it on fire. I guess the implication is it's going to cause super damage if he hits him with it.
Yeah, but, like Street Fighter or something.
Yeah, but then it went wrong because after they did the spot, and then afterwards the fire wouldn't go out. Several water. Now this is where the community comes together. We're only laughing because he's okay. Several water bottles were thrown into the ring to help him out as he tried to douse the flame, I guess.
Yeah, he took his boot off and his sock was still on fire.
Really? Wait, I didn't see that bit. Oh. So the flame obviously keeps on coming, and he's like, no more water, and then it keeps popping back up. Now, thankfully, water and a towel put out the flame. Great chain wrestling. With Janela limping around the ring a bit and then continuing shortly thereafter. He lost the match as well. Drew Parker hit a swanton bomb off a ladder as Joey was covered by a door. So it was quite a hardcore match, as you might imagine. But yeah, unfortunately that bit just went very, very wrong. But I think could have gone a lot worse. So that's at least a positive.
Yeah, the fire could have travelled up his body. He could have suffered serious burns. I think it's really, really funny. The fact that, because he's all right, isn't he? First of all,
I think he's okay, yeah.
I think it looked like quite a cool spot. Like, it's what Janela does. You
Visually,
can't get too upset by this sort of stuff. Wait for Jim Cornette's podcast. He'll be livid, obviously. But I actually think the sort of the implied spot and what it was meant to look like, and the delivery was decent. It was everything that happened afterwards, which is the big thing. And why didn't they have a fire extinguisher on hand, knowing what was about to go down? Why are you relying on fans to chuck in water bottles? Like the referees, like gesturing quickly, get some water. First one comes, and then like 3 or 4 hit the ring. Yeah, and there wasn't one on hand, and you'd like to imagine that they knew what he was going to do. He didn't just like spring this on them mid-match. Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it is an oversight, you've got to say.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's really dangerous what went on there. But again, it's funny because it's Janela, and I think he's really funny.
He is funny.
He's great.
Well, case in point, he's taking it in good spirits, sharing a Photoshop of his foot on fire still on Twitter, saying, trying to go to bed, but it still won't go out. I already spent $36 at the vending machine on 7 bottles of water. Tried WebMD too. Any suggestions? So
he's good at generating a bit of a buzz, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really good at that. And thankfully, he does appear to be okay. So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But, oh, wow. What?
More of that. More of that.
More of that in wrestling, please. Speaking of, well, he's a former AEW star, of course, but still one of those ones who's not going to struggle to continue to make a name for himself. But a current AEW star...
All he has to do is set himself on fire every week.
A current AEW star made a surprise appearance at a different indie show at an AEW event at Gauntlet for the Gold. It was none other than former women's champion Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She was a mystery partner in a kind of an 8-person tag match, against John Bishop. Not that John. Josh Bishop. John Bishop's a Scouse comedian. I've lost all composure. Josh Bishop. Josh Bishop. Wes Barkley.
That's Niles Barkley.
And Dominic Guarini.
Dominic off Dick and Dom.
And Dominic Guarini were her tag
Philly Collins!
Were her tag partners.
Philly Collins!
Were her tag partners against former Genesis megastar Philly Collins. Marino Tenglia, try that one, yeah. Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green, Now the finish was quite exciting. I'm really trying to carry on with Matt Cardona accidentally hitting Chelsea Green with the title belt, allowing Britt Baker to get the lockjaw applied, and she won the match for her team. I've seen footage of her entrance. And the crowd are really excited. There's an initial part for the people who recognise the intro to her music, and then when it goes, "The Doctor will see you now." I was,
one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been there loads of times before.
Right.
She was doing stuff from 2016. But the last time that she was there was apparently 2019. It's cool that she's allowed to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
just the big surprise appearances. I like that.
Absolutely. Drama backstage in WWE, sort of. It concerns an ex-AEW star, Nia Jax.
Ex-WWE star.
What did I say?
AEW.
Did I say AEW? Oh, no.
They're not going to sign Nia.
WWE star Nia Jax, who was doing a Q&A on Instagram, and someone asked her the question, are you and Becky in good friendship or not? And Nia replied, lol, I don't think she has a good friendship with anyone, crying laughter face.
Buried.
Yeah, that's
not even
nice.
Seth.
Yeah, not even Seth.
I thought she was pretty well liked backstage, except for like Charlotte Flair.
Well, I remember reports when that whole thing with Charlotte Flair came out of the belt exchange gone wrong, and they were both kicking off a bit in the ring. And the implication was that Becky was seen backstage as a bit of a hero for standing up to Charlotte.
I'm trying to think to like any sort of post WWE shoot interviews I've seen, and I can't remember people like slagging her off or saying she's unpopular. I thought she was life and soul.
I can't remember anybody, dishing any dirt on Becky Lynch.
No, I think she's seen as a professional, and she seems a bit of a laugh in all the media stuff that I see her on. Whereas Nia Jax probably doesn't have that many friends backstage.
Well, I don't know. She turned up at Alexa Bliss's wedding, and her and The Miz were having a bit of a joke and a dance. Remember that? Down there?
Fair play.
So I don't know.
Just the fans that hate her.
It just seems like Nia maybe just doesn't like Becky, and I kind of maybe picture Becky as someone who's very driven. So maybe she doesn't have too many friends backstage. It doesn't necessarily mean that people don't like her if it is true.
No, that's a fair point.
She might not just be the most social butterfly backstage. You know what I mean? She might not be.
Fair play. It's all very schoolyard, isn't it? All the playground drama.
It does seem to be a bit more super kicks on fire, less name calling backstage. Yeah, that's the motto. And more unfortunate news now, as Will Ospreay will miss quite a bit of action. It sounds like he missed RevPro's last show, which was quite a big show. I was seeing a lot of it on social media.
Yeah, me
people
too.
were hyped for epic encounters in the UK, but Ospreay missed out on it due to a kidney infection. Meltzer has provided an update this morning saying he's suffering from a kidney infection, and as of a few hours ago, he had 104-degree fever. I never can
Fahrenheit.
translate that into Celsius. Yeah,
That's hot. That.
It sounds
I'm
high.
going to take a guess at 32.
Oh, okay.
No, that's too hot. Let us know in the comments.
Okay, he said he was scheduled to headline York Hall today and defend his British title against Minoru Suzuki. It's a big match, especially on British soil. It would be a bit of a dream match. He said it's serious business, and until the infection clears, we won't have an estimate on when he can return to the ring. But what he has is no joke. Ospreay said he was miserable as he's ever been, that he can't stand without feeling he's about to faint, and gets bad sweats as well as bad chills. So yeah, hopefully he recovers from that.
That's horrible. You ever had a kidney infection?
No.
Horrible. Yeah, really, really. I had all of that stuff, so not a fun time. Hopefully he gets well soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally as well, Matt Hardy has been talking again on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast with some interesting details from backstage regarding his latter run in WWE, saying that there was a pitch to try to get me to re-sign my contract or whenever I was going to do that angle with Randy. They were also going to do something besides the angle with Randy Orton. They said a big match with Bray at WrestleMania, and they said, what if we did something now where Bray's doing something as the Fiend and people are trying to stop them? Then all of a sudden, there's an appearance of a very hardcore Matt Hardy that shows up, and then this Will-O-the-Wisp, or just a hardcore Jeff Hardy, then shows up. Then they squash these guys and run off or whatever, like save the Fiend, but they're very serious characters. It didn't happen. Instead, he says, then we see this talk show where Bray is the Mr. Rogers character, and he's talking to all the kids, and he's having the show. Then you see Broken Matt. He shows up. Oh, this is an alternative idea, sorry. And then Will-O-the-Wisp shows up, and they're part of the show as well. These two storylines have something in common, that the Hardy Boys show up, and Jeff might be Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah.
And they're both very hardcore.
I never got it. I think Will-O-the-Wisp is rubbish.
I wasn't watching TNA when it was a thing.
I just think Jeff's like so cool and over, and that it's Jeff Hardy's Dude Love. It's the one that's not as good as the other stuff that he does. I like the Randy bit that he's referring to was when he was sort of doing a bit of a Legend Killer 2.0 thing, like he did the thing to Christian, Matt Hardy, Ric Flair with the night vision goggles and all that sort of guff. And I thought that was really, really good stuff. I don't understand why Matt's so keen on this, because what he's suggesting is that Randy would have sort of steamrolled them. By what I'm reading into this on the way to the Fiend. Yeah, they were sort of, but I know that Matt has been really, he was keen, especially at that point, to do more serious stuff. He was fed up with his position on the card, and I think Jeff had wanted to do Will-O-the-Wisp or something similar in WWE for a while. So I imagine that's what it was. But hey, it all worked out in the end for the Fiend, Randy Orton, and Alexa Bliss. It was great stuff.
Yeah, it did all. I was starting to criticise that there, and then realised actually it all went nowhere. It went nowhere at all.
Really bad.
Fair enough. Thank you very much for watching this news video. Let us know your thoughts and suggestions, I guess. I don't know why I've said suggestions. I say that at the end of other videos.
Yeah, they can suggest whatever they want.
Thoughts and suggestions in the comment section down below. There will be another news video out later on today as well. And we'll see you.
Got someone to plug first.
Go on.
Andrew's first piece to camera.
Well,
his solo show is going live tonight.
He mentioned this on the podcast last week and said he was a bit nervous about it.
6:45.
Oh, okay.
See, he's not on the news today, so we'll unveil it now.
Go on then.
It's Lost Wrestling Media.
Oh.
He's doing a deep dive into some of the things that have been filmed and then lost or put in the archive, never to be seen again. Kicking things off with a segment on the Snake Pit, or believed to be on the Snake Pit, with Jake the Snake Roberts DDTing Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
Really fascinating stuff. 6:45 tonight, so check that out.
Definitely check that out. And and look out for our second news video as well later on today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.